Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Welcome to the Tuesday edition Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff along with Jimmy Ott. And Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Andy Isco with us today. Seminara with us today. We're in conference tournament action going on all day. Going to be a busy week with that. LSU baseball wrapping up the pre-conference, portion of the schedule with the Creighton Blue Jays tonight making their first ever trip to Alex Box Stadium. And NFL free agency in full swing into day 2 now. We got crawfish here at Mike Anderson's and a lot going on. Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
What I saw Sugar Shane talking to you right before we got on the show, man. He seems pretty excited about
they're busy, man. It's a Lenten season. So, Fridays is full blown, open all day, but open all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, through the afternoon. So, because normally we're open for lunch at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday, but all day through the weekend. And, to all the great menu items that we have over here. You got people in from out of town. This is a place to come to, to taste some of the South Louisiana delicacies, including our Cajun plate for lunch, man. A little sample of fried fish, fried shrimp, a little bit of seafood gumbo, a little bit of crawfish etouffee, a side salad with it, man, hush puppies. So you talk about for lunch price, lunch special price. It's awesome. But also doing the crawfish is kind of new over here. Sometimes we dabble into it, sometimes we don't, but it's been a big hit for the Lenten season. Every day starting at 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then all day, all night on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So been really, really busy over here.
All right, the Saints opened up free agency yesterday. They had a lot more room to maneuver than what they've had in some previous years. They had to redo some contracts, and they redid another one this morning with Eric McCoy, which may lead us to another big move on the horizon, but we'll see what happens later today. But New Orleans was very active in the free agent market on day number 1. Start with the good, and what I liked about what the Saints did yesterday. We'll start with the biggest of the biggest of the free agent signings for them, which was David Edwards, the guard from Buffalo. Edwards has been, according to the Pro Football Focus grades and things of that nature, one of the better guards in football. And, of course, you saw last year the way Buffalo was able to run the football with the top rusher in the league. That was a pretty good offensive line. The Saints have had a gaping hole at left guard. They tried to plug it with Trevor Penning. They tried to plug it with some free agents, and really none of it has quite worked out exactly the way that they wanted to. Edwards is going to be 29 years old, so for a guard, he's smack dab right in the middle of his prime. He has been outstanding the last 2 years. He's not a one-year wonder. And the price that they got him for, which is 4 years, a little over $60 million, is, I think, a really good deal. If Edwards is the top guard on the market, and a lot of people thought he was, compare him to the top interior lineman, the top center in the class, which was Tyler Linderbaum, who went from Baltimore to the Raiders at an average of $27 million a year. This is closer to $15, $16 million a year for Edwards. So I think this is a great value. I think it's a great need. I love everything about the David Edwards move. I would also like to see them make another move either in free agency or in a middle pick in the draft to push Cesar Ruiz. Ideally, I'd like to replace him outright, but one thing at a time. I thought this was a great sign.
You don't think they could draft another guard?
In the middle rounds, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
at all. The Saints signed John Ridgway, defensive tackle, to a 2-year deal for $6 million. He was a rotation piece last year. That's fine. They signed Ryan Wright, the Minnesota punter, to a 4-year deal. This was a little pricey. Okay, it was $8 million guaranteed, $2.5 million signing bonus. But the Saints, since Thomas Morstead left in 2021, it's been a revolving door of bad punters. Ideally, you'd like to go find your punter in free agency, rookie free agency, get a guy that's cheap, and not spend a whole bunch of bucks there. Well, the Saints tried that. They brought in Matthew Hayball. They brought in Lou Hedley. They brought Blake Gillikin. They brought in Kai Kroger, and none of them were good. And so finally, it's kind of – this is the way I see it. It's kind of like one of those leaks that you keep patching, patch the leak, until finally you get tired of patching the leak. You're like, you know what, I'm buying a new one. And so they went out. Yeah, they spent, but Wright was one of the top 6 punters in the league last year in terms of net average and punts inside the 20. So if they finally fix that, that's terrific. They signed Noah Fant, tight end, to a 2-year deal. He was with Cincinnati last year. He's been a solid run blocker for most of his career in the NFL. He was with Seattle, of course, before that, in Denver for a couple of years. Had an 82% win rate on his blocking plays last year. 34 catches, 388 yards. Fits in probably as a second tight end with Jawan Johnson. Not expecting Foster Moreau back. Not expecting Taysom Hill back. Figure he will probably retire. So this is a nice addition. So I liked, fine with that signing. The biggest name signing for the Saints yesterday was Travis Etienne. The former Clemson and Jaguars running back signed a 4-year deal for $52 million with the Saints. This means a lot of things. Number one, you can see with the contract amending that they did with Alvin Kamara, which allows them to move on from him with less pain than it would have caused before, that it may be the end of Alvin Kamara, who's 31 years old now in New Orleans and was injured for a good bit of last season. Etienne was productive last year. He had over 1,000 yards, third time in 4 seasons. He was the 11th ranked rusher in the NFL. He caught 36 passes for 292 yards and 6 touchdowns. He ran for 4.3 yards a carry, 1,107 yards and 7 touchdowns. All of that's fine, and he will upgrade the Saints running back room. I'm not wild about the fact that they gave a 4-year deal to a 27-year-old running back. Generally, running backs, once you get to that age, it's a risk if you give them anything more than a year or 2. If the Saints were going to go this route, and given what they did and what Kansas City did, you pretty much get the idea that they think Jeremiah Love's going to be off the board by number 8. So they're addressing running back in free agency instead of the draft, at least instead of the first round of the draft. Rico Dowdle, who was with Carolina last year, had essentially the same line that Etienne did. He ran for 1,076 yards instead of 1,170. He scored 6 touchdowns instead of 7. He caught 297 yards worth of passes instead of 292. And they're essentially the same age. Dowdle is 6 months older than Etienne. The Steelers got Dowdle for $12.2 million on a 2-year contract. The Saints paid over 4 times that on a double the length contract. I think Etienne will help. I think he's still a good player. I think they overpaid for him, and I'm not wild about a 4-year deal for a 27-year-old running back. That said, the Saints, are better offensively than they were yesterday at this time. We told you yesterday before the show was over that Demario Davis had moved on to the Jets. The Saints were unwilling to go 2 years on him, and they also lost. They also lost a corner to Tennessee. So it wasn't a deal where they didn't lose anybody. They had some defections to go along with it, but Alontae Taylor and Demario Davis moving out and what they had moving in yesterday, I think the Saints got better.
Pete Rozell's happy. God bless him.
Yeah.
This is another level of another layer and how this parity is a parity league. Another process besides just drafting first, because you get a talented roster. Who's had the most talented roster the last couple of years?
The most talented roster the last couple of years.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
You were not going to argue with that, are you?
No.
They got rated pretty good yesterday.
Yeah.
And it allows you bottom feeders to get better. Saints, by a lot of people's account, got better. You know who else is in that category? The Raiders.
The Raiders spent a lot of money yesterday.
And my favorite team,
The Tennessee Titans.
they got better.
They certainly spent a lot of money.
So it allows you to to get better. So the Saints behaving like a normal NFL franchise.
Yeah.
I think Kellen Moore. Well, we know that Kellen Moore was a part of the Eagles, and how were they built? They were built up front. And then later on. Okay, they got their running back through free agency. Last piece of the puzzle. Kind of to push them over the top. They were very close without him, but they did. They got over the top with him. Overspent, maybe so. Maybe they tried to get Dowdle, no doubt. 27, Charlie, might be a little tough on that age. I mean, the guy looked really in his prime last year.
And he missed an entire.
And Dowdle did too.
He missed an entire season, so there's a little less tread on the tires for him. I'm not saying he can't play.
No.
At 27.
I thought it was 30. He'll be 30 in the third year of his contract.
Yeah.
Or the fourth year. I mean, is he 27 or 28? Whatever.
He just turned 27.
Okay,
so
he will be 30 in the last year of his contract.
Yeah.
It's
not the worst thing in the world. I prefer to go a little younger at the position, but like I said, I don't hate it. There are other things I would have rathered, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
So but it also tells you they're not drafting. If your boy Love is available, they're not drafting him in top 10, and they don't. In a combination, they're not sure that he'll be available with that top 10 pick. But it also talks about what are they going to do with Kamara, and so that's puzzling because Kamara hasn't been himself, but Kamara hasn't had the best supporting cast of to get around as well. We know what he can do. Is he a player on the decline? He might be. I'd say probably so.
He is,
but still really good. And you put him in a situation like the Eagles or something, he might be pretty damn good.
It raises the question: what is his value? And Adam Schefter put out something yesterday that said that there are calls around the league like, is Kamara available?
A lot of chatter once they brought in Etienne.
For a team like Denver, Philadelphia, somebody like that. Yeah, he makes a lot of sense. He's 31 years old, which is maybe a little old for the Saints timeline, and certainly old for a full-time every down back like Kamara has been.
But making a last run.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the
Rams,
a valuable
the Broncos.
Yeah, teams like that, he makes a lot of sense. He went from 950 yards 2 years ago to 470.
Well, you know who else in the business of all in, huh? The Ravens. What they came up to get Crosby?
Yeah.
Are they not all in?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Crosby's had how many surgeries over the last 18 months or whatever it is, a few years?
It was an awfully high price to pay for a 29-year-old defensive end.
They're in now.
Now, when he's on the field, he's a monster. But yeah, I would have been a little bit nervous
a Hall of
about
Famer.
that too. Yeah,
he's a Hall of Famer. He plays hard. He's able to still produce for a bad team. When you simply have to, it's every offensive coordinator. Okay, let's start with worrying about him. And he's still that productive when he's on the field, that disruptive.
This feels like.
But they're just acting like a real NFL organization.
And it feels like for me, and look, these guys I'm going to mention are iconic Saints. They've had great careers, but it feels like they're finally ripping the Band-Aid off. Demario Davis is gone. Honey Badger left last year. Taysom Hill is likely to retire. And right this second, if you asked me if Alvin Kamara and Cam Jordan are going to be on the Saints roster on opening day, I would say the odds are more likely that they won't than they will.
All of those players are clearly in the decline.
Yes. And
okay?
they were all
super
Saints.
old.
Yeah.
Okay? No, there's no doubt. But I got to you say you're turning the page. To me, I think this yesterday had more of a Kellen Moore influence than maybe what we've seen traditionally out of the Saints. Because
closer to Sean Payton influence than Dennis Allen influence?
Sean Payton. When Sean Payton would have given Etienne a 10-year deal and given up more draft picks.
I need a running back now.
Yeah, I need one yesterday.
Yeah.
I need one in Seattle. We know that. Ingram, really good player for the Saints. Overpaid? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean Payton. No, we saw a lot of – but since Payton's influence is gone or he's gone, it's been Loomis. This one thing, I'm going to get one guard, and we're going to build this thing through the offensive the line of scrimmage first,
and he's
then
been
go
trying to do that. But Trevor Penning didn't work out. Ruiz really hasn't worked out. They have tried to draft offensive linemen and defensive linemen. The defensive linemen that didn't work. I mean, it's a pretty long list. So he's got the right idea. It's just that a lot of these first-round picks up front haven't worked out. Hopefully the next ones will. So I liked most of what the Saints did yesterday. A small quibble with the length and the size of Etienne's contract, but I can live with it. I like it a lot better than some of their other first days of free agency.
Like what the Titans did? Like what the Raiders did?
The Titans took some risks, okay? They gave Alontae Taylor $20 million a year to play outside corner when he really has been a slot corner. They gave Wan'Dale Robinson, who I think is a good player, an awful lot of money.
Yeah, you gave him a lot.
They gave Cordell Flott, we know from his time at LSU, an awful lot of money. So,
well, those are the teams that they're being compared to as much, but
they have money to spend.
And
Tennessee.
Well, that, and they also, the key thing about them is they also have, the Raiders are going to have a rookie quarterback, and the other two, the Saints and the Titans, have second-year quarterbacks. Saints have a second-year head coach. The other two have brand-new head coaches and GMs, both. So, I mean, they are, it's kind of a little bit of a purge factor, building up some. They built up some money for this. They had some more flexibility. Instead of being dead last in forever, for how long straight? How many years in a row were the Saints the worst cap situation ever and didn't have a whole lot of options when it came to this? Couldn't really be competitive.
Pre-COVID.
Because don't think that, let's open up the season. These contracts are agreed upon in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, the agent is working the possibilities and taking the best deal. Wan'Dale Robinson, this is the first offer we got. Yeah, let's take it. Of course not. But I just think that those teams got better.
To answer your question on the Raiders, I love the Tyler Linderbaum signing. I loved him coming out of college. I loved him with the Ravens. Yeah, they paid a bunch of money for him, but it seems like a really safe place to put your money. As good as he's been, as young as he is, as durable as he's been, and to help your young quarterback out, yeah, they paid plenty, but I think that's a safe place to put your money.
How about your young running back? You got a little bit invested in him too, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe he'll have a residual effect and make the guys around him that surround him better.
Yeah.
I
like that signing an awful lot.
We're over here at Mike Anderson's. It's Oyster Night over here every Tuesday night starting at 5 p.m. Again, it's half off oysters and a half shell. So we're doing them on the Char Grill as well, man. Nobody does them better over here on the Char Grill than they do at Mike Anderson's. Those big chunks of fresh garlic. You talk about outstanding. So get a little bit of on the half shell, get a little bit of on the Char Grill, a little bit. And also, again, boiled crawfish, hot boiled crawfish, every day, Monday through Thursday, starting at 5 p.m., Monday through Thursday. And then also on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 11 a.m., open till close. So you're going to the box, you're going to tennis, you're going to whatever it is, on-campus gymnastics. come on over here to Mike Anderson's before, during, and after some of the LSU spring events.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. New handicast that we dropped yesterday about LSU baseball on YouTube, excuse me. You can go and check that out right now. It's brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating their 90th year in business here in 2026 down in Southwest Louisiana, supporting our Louisiana farmers. Go to SupremeRice.com. One of the bigger names in NFL free agency yesterday was the Dolphins release and then the Falcons signing of Tua Tagovailoa. This was rumored yesterday, right? Really at the beginning of this whole thing. And the Falcons are going to get a free swing, essentially. The Dolphins have to pay just under $100 million in dead money. So the Dolphins are going to have to pay the freight on all of this, and the Falcons essentially they get a free swing on a 1-year deal to see if Tua can, put it together there. So now
I'll take him as a backup. I mean, or as a backup plan in case Penix is not ready. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world for $1 million.
Yeah,
it's this Russell Wilson for the Steelers?
That's exactly what it is.
Why
somebody
not?
will do the same thing with Kyler Murray
so
later this week. The Cardinals got to pick up the freight on him. He's $1 million.
I agree with that. Nobody's got to take him.
No, somebody will, but nobody has to. You'd rather him or Tua on a 1-year, $1 million swing?
Don't it? Not even close. Tua's trying. This guy, Charlie, you just say these digital things, you could keep track of them exactly.
Yeah.
They know exactly how much he opened his playbook. They know exactly to the minute. Yeah. None. That's the guy. That's the guy you want. You're in your position of leadership.
No.
Well, who wants him? I think there's a lot of people. There's no way he would play for me, unless I am so bad. You know what he is? Because he does things on his own. He runs around. He's got a little ability and stuff. Forget he was taking number 1. He's not worthy of a number 1 pick. Never was, okay? Too short, that runs around, can't throw the ball in rhythm, and not committed to the position. But he is, man, there's a reason they lost. Tua, now part of it is Tua's backups are really bad, right? They've been bad.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Okay, that's fine. Say mediocre or just bad, horrible.
I wanted to give your boy from Texas a little bit more time, but
he was thrown in there. He was his first,
big drop off. Yes, big drop off. No doubt.
His winning percentage with and without them. Same guys, same team. It's not like, this guy's got a bear penalty catch. It's drastic. So he does make a difference. He's limited. But this makes all the sense in the world. Instead of playing at Buffalo, New England, and New York, you play at New Orleans, Tampa Bay, and Carolina.
Yeah.
Aren't those places a little warm weather? Is he not bad? And he's damaged goods. So I don't think he's as good as he was, to be honest. But damn it, a backup plan, a free swing, give me him.
So now instead of, and I agree. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything, so go ahead. In the words of a guy on draft night during COVID, he's free. Look,
and I don't think it's any surprise that they took Tua over Murray first.
And now instead of one, off the injured left-handed quarterback, they have 2. Maybe one of them will work out. If you are the Minnesota, I don't need to ask you. You wouldn't take Kyler Murray anywhere. I'm trying to figure out where he ends up. Is it going to be the Jets? That would probably be appropriate. Does Minnesota want to incur
why does anybody have to take him?
Well, he's not without any talent.
To me, he's a
There's a lot of bad quarterbacks.
He's a backup quarterback. Backup quarterbacks you want to be more mobile, to kind of create on their own a little bit, because their timing is not going to be, as on par with a quarterback who has time and reps built in practice to work on their timing. It's just not going to be. I want a guy with some wheels. He fits that bill. But, man, if you're trying to win, compete with anything of substance, he is the last guy I would bring in. last.
If you're the Minnesota Vikings and you think that with a competent quarterback, you might be a playoff team next year. Tough division.
Oh, the Minnesota Vikings, yes.
Okay.
A very, very, very mediocre quarterback can get them to him. And they didn't get mediocre quarterback play this year.
No, they got bad quarterback play last year. So if your choices are Kyler Murray or an aging Kirk Cousins, well, I already know what you would do.
I would take Cousins.
You would take Cousins. Yeah. Minnesota might take a shot with Murray, just to push J.J. McCarthy, if nothing else. They could do that with Cousins. I'm not sure. When you're in that situation looking for a quarterback and you're trying to take the pieces, any competent quarterback, if he's available on the market, there's a reason. Either he costs too much money, he's been hurt, he's too old, he's coming off a bad year, something's wrong with him, okay? Almost always. Or you've got question marks at the very least. That's what, if you're Minnesota, that's what's available to you. I don't know. It would be a tough call. Whether I would go with one of those veterans or you bring in somebody like a Gardner Minshew just to back up McCarthy this year and say, no, JJ, you're our guy. We'll bring in some journeyman.
Who just brought in Pickett?
He was with the Raiders, wasn't he?
No,
I thought
he was on the East Coast.
Kenny Pickett move yesterday, Max? He might have missed that. The last I checked, he was.
Was it Carolina?
Raiders. Or no, he agreed with the Panthers.
Panthers yesterday.
Yeah, Carolina.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happened. But somebody like that, maybe. And I think Gardner Minshew's hurt right now.
So with Pickett, they gave a lot more than $1 million a year.
Yeah,
competent
backup quarterbacks. Washington signed Mariota for $7 million a year yesterday.
Minshew joined the Cardinals, so he'll be the backup to Brissett next year. For what it's worth, the last 2 years, EPA per play for quarterbacks among qualified quarterbacks, the last 2 years, Tua is 16th league average, Kyler Murray 17th. They're right next to each other.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is a guy that you take on a team that you have no chance, okay, and you don't really have, and he scrambles around and does things on his own, off platform, and he just kind of, he might be able to make some plays and make you competitive, but he is not going to do anything to win of anything of consequence.
I might take a flyer on him in Minnesota in that situation because of this. If McCarthy completely throws up on himself in September, I think you can win a few games with Kyler Murray the rest of the way. And then you have to address your quarterback situation the next year. The contract makes him somewhat more palatable. But I agree with you. Long term, he's not my guy.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all of you real estate closings. 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Marion Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title. 296-0060.
Live at Mike Anderson's. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Heading out to Las Vegas, deep in the desert, lives one man. One man of many sports bets. The one and only Andy Isco.
Andy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Jimmy. Hope you guys are as well. This week is almost as much fun as next week with all the tournaments starting early in the morning and going deep into the evening. And we've seen some surprises in the mid-majors, but let's see what happens when the big guys get started later today.
Championship week has already begun in the ACC. So we've got the Big 12 with Arizona State. I liked Arizona State in that game against Baylor today. So anyway, they're underway. And now, before we get into college hoops, in the championship week, much bigger menu than the NCAA tournament next week. But your reaction to the the NFL free agency yesterday?
Well, not really a lot of surprises, of course. A lot of rumors have been going on. I like a couple of things that the Giants did. I kind of like what the Raiders have done. They've really sort of positioned themselves after the trading of Max Crosby, getting the first rounder this year and then another one next year, and then getting some offensive line help yesterday. I like what they've done. That doesn't mean they're going to, I'm not even going to say that the Raiders are contenders for a winning record, but they should be improved this coming year if Mendoza can adjust to the NFL level now that he's got some protection. And I guess if they can get another wide receiver, they might have a little bit better chance. Vikings look like they seem to be interested in Kyler Murray. We should find out more about that tomorrow after the Cardinals officially release him. No surprise with what happened down in Miami. We knew that Tua was going to be released. And I think that Malik Willis was always going to be the quarterback that Miami sought to replace him with, given the connections for the new general manager and the coach for Green Bay.
I have to ask you as we get ready for this, and we're seeing some of the upsets in the smaller conferences. In a lot of Navy, that was just horrible. I mean, a terrible way to lose. But Boston U was in the game. They did advance to their semifinals. They did play on their home court, but they were still beaten. But we saw Cinderella get bruised up pretty good last year. 13 through 16 seeds won last year, and very few were competitive. It was a chalk fest with the odd. I
think the only one that I recall as far as being a double-digit seed that won, I think, was McNeese. I think they were at 12 of them in the traditional 12 versus 5 upset.
Yeah. I believe that there was one more. That was a 9 seed. That was a lower seed that was actually favored. A lower seed.
I want to say that might have been a Memphis game or a Missouri game, something like that. I believe there was a 10 over a 7.
I think it was one of the first 4 of victories. I'll look it up in a second. Nonetheless, the chalk dominated, okay? Also go back to high major teams versus mid-major the past 10 years before last year or before this year, and 85% of the games were won by the high major teams. This year it's 92% of the non-conference games. The margin of victory has increased from 15 points a game over a big frame to last year, and this year 22 points per game. As I mean, Cinderella did. We know that there's so many of the mid-major teams are losing their stars to the high major teams. It's just so tough for the mid-majors. Tougher than ever. As Cinderella did in March Madness.
Oh, well, that's what made the NCAA tournament the popular event that it's been for the last 30 years or so, and that was because of those buzzer beaters and the dramatic upsets. I remember when Georgetown lost when they were at the top of the game and they got upset. I forget what it was, like a 50-49 game, a typical Princeton game. I think it may have been Princeton that beat them, but we missed that now because more bids are going to the major conferences at the expense of the mid-majors, and at the same time, more of those bids are going there because these major conferences are going from 8, 10, 12 teams now up to 14, 16, 18 teams, so there are more bids available, and they won't schedule as many mid-majors as they did in the past. They've got this now quad 1, quad 2, and I understand it, but if you're playing in a major conference, you're going to have more opportunities to defeat a quad 1 team and improve your resume because all the teams in your conference are going 18-2 in pre-conference play or 16-3, whatever it is, and building up their resume. So I said it many, many times. It's not going to be 5, 10 years down the road because the haves and the have-nots. You're going to see the Ohio State football team incorporated, where they're going to be having professional players rather than college students playing for them under the Ohio State banner, et cetera, et cetera. It's a shame because I think the NCAA tournament used to thrive on getting those 4 or 5 major upsets on Thursday and Friday.
All right. Anything that you like on these in these mid-major tournaments? Is this a week maybe where the top 4 seeds, win, lose, or draw, they seem to be set? Number 1 seed is going to be Duke. They beat Michigan on a high, in late season, neutral court. The overall number 2 is Michigan. They destroyed some really tough non-conference competition early in the season at the Players Era tournament and beyond, and won the Big Ten tournament, power tournament, by multiple games there. They're number 2. Number 3 is Arizona, and number 4 is Florida. So with those teams with their seeding set, even UConn, with that, they're going to be the number 2 seed, and Florida's regional. You can't give it to anybody else. Are these teams a little vulnerable knowing that they're really not playing for anything this week?
Yeah, it could be. We're seeing some enthusiasm, and I know they just played 2 weeks ago, and it was a blowout for Virginia to perhaps come away with the ACC title. Duke knows that it's secure. Duke knows that they're going to be getting favorable seedings, without the regions, without anything happening. Maybe the one team of the four that you mentioned, just to make sure, because Florida got to that number one seed because UConn lost to Marquette over the weekend, and Florida did what Florida does in winning and also covering against Kentucky. So maybe we see a little bit more of an effort out of Florida just to make absolutely, I mean, I felt they deserved it over UConn anyway before last week, but just to make a little bit more certain that they secure that spot. As far as some of the other conferences, maybe Villanova's got a shot in the Big East. St. John's and UConn are pretty much secure where they are, so we'll see what Villanova does. I know tonight Gonzaga's looking to go out with a nice win in their final championship tournament. As a member of the West Coast Conference, they're going to the Pac-12 next year. Obviously no football, but for basketball. So I think they would like to end up with a nice win tonight against Santa Clara, who did what they needed to do yesterday, which is basically get a win over St. Mary's and basically have the committee decide do they want to get two of them or all three of them in.
Oh, they get
that
three.
Decision.
Yeah,
I would say certainly. Considering what the bubble teams did over the weekend in regular season play, yes, I would agree.
Yeah, 0-9 last weekend by the bubble teams. So, I mean, the soft bubble got just softer. I mean, that much softer. Herb Sendek coaching at Santa Clara, Charlie. He has won in the tournament with a mid-major before.
Yeah, Miami.
Andy?
Yeah.
Andy, help him out.
Miami?
Miami of Ohio.
Correct.
Yeah.
1995. Yeah. They beat Arizona and lost in the second round to Virginia in overtime. But yes, Miami. That's when he got he got a job after that performance. So
I don't know what to do with myself with a West Coast Conference tournament final that's not St. Mary's and Gonzaga. It seems like it's at every year.
This is Gonzaga's last year.
You get Santa Clara tonight. Last time somebody won the West Coast Conference, it wasn't Gonzaga or St. Mary's. You got to go all the way back to 2008 that somebody besides one of those two teams won the West Coast Conference.
Was that BYU before they left the conference?
It was San Diego. BYU had played in the finals a couple times, but it was San Diego in 2008.
And they won a game of the tournament, I think, too.
Ooh, now you tested my
knowing
memory.
that about 20 years ago. What year was that?
2008.
I think so, Charlie.
Might have.
Yeah,
I
think so. I think so.
Was that Steve Lavin coaching them back then?
No.
He may have coached more recently.
Yeah. And any games that you like?
I kind of like SMU against Syracuse today. They played, I think it was in early February, and Syracuse beat them 79-78, I recall. But I took a look at the overall body of work, and I've been a little bit more impressed with SMU than I have been with Syracuse. We certainly see how much Syracuse has fallen off following the departure of Jim Boeheim. It didn't quite rebuild as much as they thought they would. And SMU's been a nice program as they've moved through conference, and now sitting in that ACC. I think that this will be the one when they get eliminated in the next round. But I think the line is like 4.5. I think they can handle that against Syracuse.
Charlie, did you have who he coached? San Diego did beat. They were a 13 seed. They beat number 4 seed UConn on a last-second jumper, 70-69. 70-69 in overtime. So low-scoring game back then. But
Bill Greer was a coach.
Bill Greer, yeah, it wasn't Lavin. So they beat Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference Championship game, 69-62. So yeah, they were a quality mid-major. So you ain't getting many of those 13-16 seeds like that.
I'm toying around with Gonzaga tonight as a possible play as well. I think they would like to go out the West Coast by winning their final opportunity, their final conference championship. Santa Clara, like I say, if they lose tonight, I don't think it's going to affect what's going to happen as far as the tournament committee goes, but I think it's going to be a big win for Mark Few, who's done so well over the years.
Anything else you like before we let you go?
That's all. I haven't made too much in the way of pre-show plays other than Virginia in the ACC. And I want to see how Cincinnati does in the Big 12. I like the way this team has played down the stretch, and I think all the major contenders in that conference have flaws, although I'm still going to probably have something on Texas Tech to win that conference, even without Toppin.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I think more of these number one seeds will lose this weekend than not make it to the Final Four. I think you'll see less win their conference tournament than advance to the Final Four because I just think what are they playing for? I just don't know.
For the health of college basketball, I'm hoping we do not get a repeat of last year, and I hope that no more than 2 number one seeds make the Final Four, if that.
I'd put it at 2.5, maybe 3. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, well, yeah. We always look at the number one seeds before each tournament and say, yeah, we can make the best case for them. And, of course, with the NIL and everything, it's easier, but there still are a lot more teams that are profiting from the NIL that normally would have been number 2 seeds that could have been number 1 seeds.
Follow Andy on Twitter at VegasAndy711. Thank you, Andy. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the weekend.
You too, guys. Thank you.
All right, don't forget our friends at K&M Automotive, 8445 Segan Lane at the corner of Perkins. It's the only place I take my vehicle. They're open 7:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. And anything happens with your vehicle. I mean, the engine light, the check engine light comes on. I'll bring it in to my buddy Jason Payne and let him look at it. Belts, hoses, tires, just AC repair, undercar services, electronic, transmission work, electrical, you name it, we can help you out with it. If you come on in and we're a little backed up at the top, no problem. Jason will schedule an appointment that is more convenient for you and for them so we can get you in and out properly. Why there's a lot of business? Because he gives people an honest deal. No horror stories of on crazy prices for unnecessary work. 8445 Segan Lane, just off of Perkins. K&M Automotive. It's the only place I take my vehicle.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
3 major conference tournaments starting today, the Big 12, the ACC, and the Big 10. The Big 12, the first to get underway. Arizona State with a 21-12 lead about midway through the first half at that tournament. And possibly the last run for Bobby Hurley.
Yeah, I think it is. They got to win a tournament, which is not likely, but I do like the way they're playing as of late. So if you had the Hurley technical doubleheader you hit on Saturday, as both of them were up. But they, even in a loss in a non-cover on Saturday in Ames, I mean, they were right there. It's like tied early second half. I mean, they're going toe-to-toe until he loses his mind and kind of changed the whole complexion of the game. But they were much in it. I'm on Arizona State early today.
Why is the court covered in soot?
Here's when these technical people want to get cute, and it's horrible. It's a fail. It's a fail. Let me just give me the wooden basketball court. You don't have to change the lane graphic and and
I
free
thought the
throws.
interlocking logos were bad. Well, I don't know if this is worse, but it's certainly not any better. It looks like they're playing on dirty asphalt. I mean, it really does.
It's bad.
They're playing on a great court in Kansas City. First world problems, I guess. All right, hour number 2. We do first class, second class, no class coming back in hour number 2 at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson, live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch, first class.
I want a seat in first class where I was booked and ticketed over a month ago.
Second class.
No man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
And no class.
Life had become like school on Sunday. No class.
I'll tell you what then. Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
First class, second class, and no class. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Buy local with Louisiana-based Supreme Rice since 1936.
And we return here at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson for Live at Lunch. First class. This one was easy, man. Did you watch the World Baseball Classic last night? Dakin Park. How cool was that?
Yes.
That great crowd. United States beat Mexico 5-3. America's ace, Paul Skeens, went out there and said, when they asked him to play, he said, put my name in ink. Don't put me in pencil. Put me in ink. 4 shutout innings. He gave up 1 hit and 1 walk. Struck out 7. Some of the big highlights of the game, Roman Anthony, the phenom for the Red Sox, hit one about halfway to Galveston. The Aaron Judge's throw from right field to get the runner at third. Big play early in the game, and Judge also homered to right field in the game. So the game was cool. The idea is cool. I get the trepidation of some of the players ramping up this early in the spring to play high leverage baseball games because they're into it. Believe me. And Bobby Witt doing a nice Ozzie Smith impersonation last night with a couple of plays at shortstop. So all of that, the game, the event, the individual performances that I just mentioned, and we'll give it up again for Paul Skeens and Griffin Jacks, who is a pitcher for the Rays, who went to Air Force.
Mm-hmm. He finished there.
Yeah, finished at Air Force. Those two chipped in. The Air Force baseball team was playing at Baylor this weekend, and Skeens and Jacks chipped in to make sure the cadets could go down to Houston and watch the game, which you saw them if you're watching on TV last night. They showed them a number of times.
The game was in Houston or Mexico City?
Houston.
Okay.
Dakin Park is it now? Not Minute Maid. Dakin Park.
They made it to the game. Did they see the first inning, or did they watch Storm Tracker?
Oh, I see where you're going. The local Fox affiliate was a little bit late getting.
Hello.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens is pitching World Baseball Classic. Hello.
Yeah,
Storm Tracker, we got it.
And it was like pretty north of Baton Rouge.
Hello. Storm Tracker.
Yeah, we missed it.
We
missed the very beginning of it. I was right there screaming with you, but once it got on,
I want to watch it on my 80-inch TV and not my 4-inch phone.
Once it got on, though, it was really good, though. I mean, that was exciting baseball.
It was exciting in the first inning too. If you watch it on your phone.
So you want to go no class to the local Fox affiliate for putting the Storm Tracker on in the first inning.
Fumble, turnover. You dropped that one. Yeah, Mexico had more of a crowd there, and I'm going to say, Charlie, 5 runs, but all off this guy who was throwing meatballs, and then he got smoked in the ankle. And that's the guy that gave up the 2-run and the 3-run homer.
Yeah.
All in one inning. To beat that team 5-3, because after Skeens left after 4 innings, and you're not going to throw him much more than 4 innings.
No, he threw 60 pitches.
Okay? I mean, he might throw 5 in the knockout round, the semis or the final. I get that, but we should have beat Mexico worse than this.
The bullpen shut him down.
My boy did shut him down. You talking about Mexico?
Mexico's both.
Yes, and those guys weren't. They weren't.
Like 5 or 6 guys that went.
These weren't guys, but I don't know, man. They did talk about it. The broadcast team after Storm Tracker was done about not leaving as many men on base. They've scored. They've punished people, but 5-0. What'd you think that final score was going to be?
About
11-2.
9-2, just on a guess. 9-2, something like that. Didn't quite get there. I was a little worried when they hit the big dumper. Man, they threw inside. They hit the big dumper. Like, man,
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was intentional, but it came at a point in the game after Judge had homered.
Showed some emotion last night.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He showed some emotion when Bobby Witt went in the hold and saved him a hit because it was a hit all the way, and he robbed the guy. Now,
Witt made 2 great plays.
Incredible stretch too by Harper because he is stretch because as soon as he catches it, he comes off the bag. I mean, he's fully extended, backhanded. I mean, just great. And he kind of smiled at Witt. Mm-hmm. And they said, man, we never even seen that smile when he's in there on Livy Dunn. What's going on, man?
He did.
And then after the game was complete, they got the last out because they had the time run at the plate in the 9th inning. A leadoff single or double, I forget, down the right field line. But they he just pumped his arms up, kind of showed some emotion, kind of gave it a little bit. I mean, showed a little emotion last night.
Yeah.
Real cool in the interview, too, because he's so.
Sure. Well, they went back and they talked about a lot of his time at the Air Force. He talked about it. He penned a beautiful letter to all the little leaguers out there, all the young kids, about what he did going to the Air Force and why he did what he did and why he came to LSU and all of the things you got to do to work hard and all that. It was just a real positive message.
But
that's easy to
he
like.
also said, yeah, we have look, but we're not cadets. Okay,
No.
we're not Army. We're not Army and Navy, but So he's just so humble, man.
Yeah.
So humble, unassuming. But everybody thinks he's just touching the surface. He's just only going to get better.
America's ace, Paul Skeens, last night. United States.
Fun to watch. Stormtracker.
Beat Mexico. They play Italy.
Can we get Stormtrack? Can we get them a schedule for the next game?
I'll try to. Max is in charge of the weather.
Play Italy tomorrow night.
Why are you asking me?
Well, they just put Max in the superimpose in the top left. Huh?
Max is supposed to be taking care
Max
of this.
Is storm tracker.
He's our storm tracker.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Oh, here we go.
The party pooper. I've always been the defender of the meteorologists when they break in here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got cut. Go ahead, second class. Go ahead, Mike.
You were saying
tornado warnings. They're important.
Okay, yeah.
Those are important enough.
Hey, look.
Ain't nothing we can do about it. Where are you going to go? You going to leave your house watching Skeens?
Interior room
where are you going to go?
Windows in a bathtub.
Okay, put up the window, leave the game on. Charlie, go ahead.
Second class, good with a chance
Stay
to be
in your
great.
lane, boy.
Gary Reedus was hired yesterday. It was announced as the hire at Rutgers University for women's basketball. Reedus has been on Kim Mulkey's staff since she's been here, and he has been really, really, really important in their recruiting efforts. And also, if you've been to the game, you've been around, Gary Reedus, one of the most positive, enthusiastic, happy people that you'll be around. He's done a terrific job here, and he's taken over the job. Of course, you can connect the dots easy enough. William Tate, the former LSU president, Kelly Zinn, who is their athletic director, who worked in the administration here. They bring him in. Rutgers women's basketball for a long time was one of the real powers in the sport. C. Vivian Stringer, the Hall of Famer,
I
was
couldn't
there.
remember her name, but
She was there forever. She retired in 2022. The replacement didn't get it done, so they're going to move. They were 1-17 this year, but at one time, for a long time, Rutgers put an awful lot into their women's basketball program. So we'll see if Reedus. I'm happy that he's getting it. I'm sorry to see him leave LSU because he's done a terrific job here. Mulkey sings his praises all of the time. He had been at Vanderbilt. He had been at SMU. He'd been at Delta State. He's been at LSU since Mulkey got here. So good luck to him up at Rutgers. That's good with a chance to be great because that job has been great in the past. I understand it's a different era now, but good luck to Gary Reedus. He was fun to watch, and he did a great job here.
On the tough part about that is, man, they don't have a whole lot of football money. Good part of it, they are in the Big Ten.
Yes,
they get some distribution. So.
That number is supposed to come out here in a few weeks. $75 million per school. That's a lot of cheese, man. A lot of cheese. No class. All right. Once is an accident. Twice is maybe a coincidence. 3 times is a trend. And I like Tom Izzo an awful lot. But how many times are you going to defend Jeremy Fears for kicking people in the groin? Because this happened a couple times.
Defended him again
after Saturday's game, and
this guy's so good at it, he could do it backwards.
Now he says, "I'm going to get on it. I'm going to give him his lunch," is what he said. Okay, but he says, "I'm also so sick of this being one-sided because he's kind of after Dusty May for those guys being dirty." If you've seen Jeremy Fears, who is a terrific player, okay, this was a mule kick, and it's the second time he's done the mule kick. He's had some other dirty plays, but
he got teed up.
He hit the kid from Minnesota earlier in the year, and if you don't know what I mean by a mule kick, you've got a guy behind you that is guarding you, and as he goes to fall,
mule kick.
He mule kicks the guy in the groin. Man, you mule kick a guy down there. I'm surprised the benches didn't empty at that point, because if you get kicked there like that, most people going to go after you. I mean, it takes a lot to keep you cool. And Izzo keeps saying, I'm going to get on him, but I'm sick of this all being one-sided. No, your guy's the only – this is like Grayson Allen at Duke, Okay?
100.
Nobody else is reaching out to trip people. Nobody else is doing what Grayson Allen did. It can't be coincidence if it keeps happening to your guy. And this is not a natural, well, he was falling down. Bullcrap, okay? He kicked the guy in the groin, okay? Stop doing that.
You get the benefit of the doubt the first time. That's it. That's it.
Stop doing that.
It happens again. No, it's on you.
This has got no place in basketball.
You can't allow it to. You can't allow it to happen. You held to a higher standard, and then it happens again. No, it's intentional.
You kick a man down there, you're lucky you don't get one across your jaw. You really are. I mean, if you do it on purpose. And I'm sorry, it looks like it's on purpose. This is 2 or 3 times now that he's done this. And I understand Izzo's got to stand in front of his guy, but come on, man. He's in the wrong here. I mean, you go look at the video. Was Michigan a little dirty, a little feisty earlier in the game? Maybe. Okay. Pretty good rivalry, right? Those two teams, there's 2 pretty good basketball teams right now that are really going at it. But you can't kick people in the groin. You can't mule kick people in the groin. Sorry. So no class.
Sometimes there are negatives to keeping alums in the building, and Draymond Green, might have infiltrated practice a little bit and, rubbed off on him a little bit.
What's funny is Draymond at Michigan State was not a dirty player.
No, he was a hustle player.
Oh no, he's an overachiever.
Yeah.
No, he's an overachiever. For him to have the NBA career is unexpected. I don't know where exactly he was drafted.
2nd round.
Yeah. So he was, and Izzo doesn't coach dirty.
No,
but
he doesn't.
Izzo's defending him blindly. It's a little bit of Jimbo and Jameis Winston.
I would push back a little on blindly because the second game, the game after they played Michigan, I want to say it was Minnesota.
Yeah.
He came out and said, "I might not play him next game." So he was against him outside of the Michigan games. He came out pretty strongly against Fears. He said, Fears is costing us. We have problems. So it hasn't been universal every time he's defended him, but specifically after the 2 Michigan games, yes, he has defended him and
How do you
shifted
get
blame.
his attention?
It's got to be more than practice.
The second time is a suspendable offense. I'm sorry.
What is the coaches?
The second time he explored that. He said he might not play him.
Playing time is gold, and he has not sat him at all.
And that could be a problem.
And he's going to get into the tournament. They're going to be a 2 or 3 seed regardless, and then they're rolling again too. They are, if you haven't noticed, they are surging again, and he's their guy. He's their starting point guard. He is their guy that creates for himself. Or when they need a bucket, when it gets to crunch time, he's a clutch player. He might be struggling, but he hits clutch. He's a big part of what they do. But if you really want to do it, sit him for. Even don't start him a game for 10 minutes. Yeah. Don't start him for a half. He ultimately controls that, and he knows damn well that playing time's like gold.
First Class, Second Class, No Class, brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating their 90th year in business here in 2026. Supreme Rice, all of their rice grown, milled, processed down in southwest Louisiana, supporting our Louisiana farmers through the Climate Smart program, reducing methane emissions and promoting water conservation. Pick it up wherever you buy rice. You're going to get a great deal on Supreme Rice. Brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, parboiled rice at the household. Yesterday was Monday.
It's great. Red beans yesterday, traditional. Plenty of the Trinity, Charlie. Onions, bell peppers, and celery. I throw a little garlic in there as well. Heavy season, so yes, indeed, love it. Lots of. I didn't get any extra ham bone. Any extra ham bone in the freezer? I can borrow. Or
I'll check with Trey.
Borrow. Have.
No, you can have it.
Yes, okay.
If I give you a ham bone, I don't want it back. I'll check with her, see what we got. For more information and great recipes, go to supremerice.com.
Maybe one place playing time is not gold. Lawrence, Kansas.
Not for everybody.
Bench me, Coach. Bench me.
I got the fluke.
Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We're also brought to you in part by the Thibodeau store, the Pierre Part store, now open in La Rose and La Place as well. Save big on your spring projects right now with products from Greenworks, DeWalt, Roundup. Also great deals right now from Milwaukee's Tool tools, and from Channel Lock. Save up to 40% now on Channel Lock tools. You're getting your yard, your garden, your property into shape as we get here into the spring. Deals on the website at thethibodeaustore.com. Your wagons, your wheelbarrows, your dump carts, all of your seeders and spreaders, all of your potting saws, your Scott's four-step lawn care programs, all of your buying guides available on the website. Get you to all 4 of the properties at thethibodeaustore.com. And same-day pickup available. If you order off the website, delivery available on a number of these projects. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. Highway 70 in LaPlace, open at 7:30 every morning, and at thethibodeaustore.com. So we got college basketball all day today. Halftime score: Arizona State leads Baylor 44-35. And coming up, the next 2 big tournament games today: Pitt and Stanford, Utah and Cincinnati. I wouldn't bring it up, Jimmy, except it seems like this first group of games.
Cincinnati's up on the bubble.
This is a lot of teams that, correct me if I'm wrong, used to be good. You know, these used to be. Utah was a basketball.
Utah, Pitt, yes, Stanford,
Cincinnati, Baylor. Since they won the national championship, have fallen off really, really drastically. This, you want to call it the new format or whatever. But these are teams that used to be real basketball powers, and they Stanford, who's not terrible
Charlie,
this year.
game's changed.
The game has really changed. That's kind of where I'm going with some of these teams that used to be, like I said, really, really good, and just
Stanford's fallen off more in football than they have in basketball.
They have. You get a team like
Pitt had tailed off way before the new, player, the new rules of roster building. So they had tailed off. Ben Holland and Jamie Dixon and that it's still my favorite, arena there is in college basketball with the courtside suites. Love those.
Oh yeah,
and beautiful view of the campus, kind of in their little club area as well. I mean, just. Peterson Event Center is just big time. It's been around for like 20 years now, so it's still my favorite. But, those coaches left, and we've seen that where team programs are coach dependent. It's kind of they hadn't done a whole lot, before or after the coach. The Baylor one surprises me a little bit because they've won. What else have they won a national championship? Women's basketball.
Yeah,
pretty much it, huh? And so they won at the highest level, so they should have some support. They have some money there, and that surprises me that Drew would not be as competitive. Now, his roster's supposed to be more talented than they're performing at as well. I think he's got another guy. He had a guy last year who was drafted in the first round. I think he's got a guy this year that might be drafted in the first round. So he might be missing on some of the complementary players or whatever, but they're still getting some talent in there, but nothing like where he was on a roll, man.
Since the national championship season, which coincides with the beginning of payments to players the next year, they've gone from 4 conference losses to 7 to 8 to 10 to 11. 12 this year, and they're losing in this game, which if Arizona State holds on, Baylor ends up 16-16 on the season.
Right.
Utah, it's hard to believe. It's been 10 years since they made the NCAA tournament. Larry Kostowiak was there for 10 years. They only made the tournament a couple of times. It's been 10 years since they've made the NCAAs. Cincinnati, since 2022, 3 consecutive losing seasons in the conference. Now they went 9-9 this year. They had 11 winning seasons in a row, but Mick Cronin left. West Virginia's another one of these teams since 2021-22. No winning seasons in the conference. Notre Dame, Mike Bray was there forever. 23 years. They made the postseason 18 times, but they had a lousy year. West Virginia, 6 straight non-winning seasons in league play. I'm bringing all this up because we're going to have this conversation here in a few days about where LSU is going with their basketball program and how much you're going to invest in it. And if LSU chooses not to invest what would be a lot of money.
They invested this year.
Well, in the roster, yeah. I'm talking about you investing in a coaching change.
Well,
now.
you don't think he's being paid well enough?
Yeah, I do. I mean, are you going to?
You gave him a 7-year deal.
Are you going to
invest?
What
the hell else was giving him a 7-year deal?
Are you going to invest in a coaching change? Is what I'm saying. That's the question right now, right?
Well, if they get the right guy, yeah. If not, no.
Yeah, and they're not the only ones that. Again, teams that have had a lot of Syracuse, and I know they lost a legendary coach in Jim Boeheim, who was there for 40+ years. They have fallen off. I'm just saying it's not automatic. A lot of these what I would call premium basketball programs have fallen off, and I can't think of any other reason other than
where would Florida be if they enforce the protection of the co-eds on campus with the stalking tweets?
They'd have a new coach.
The text, huh?
Allegedly. Well, no, they didn't.
Allegedly,
they didn't.
Well,
they didn't
Florida cleared him. They said he was cleared of wrongdoing. That's what they stated at the time.
They cleared him, but of wrongdoing. That's a pretty strong allegation to throw out there if you're in the mess, huh?
Puzzling to me, but I don't want his lawyers coming after us, Jimmy. No, allegedly.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a lot. No, let me censor myself a little bit here. No. When everything's going well, you want things to keep going
get
well
it.
on the floor.
It's hard to try and be all in administrative support wise on every sport. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But the sport that produces you a profit, no matter if it's baked in or not, that's hard for me not to justify supporting it on a level that the programs that you support so much that they lose more. And I understand it might be Mulkey might hustle some of her own money. Johnson hustles some of his own money. I get it. Jay, with the gymnastics might hustle some of his money. Okay, I get it. Certainly the tennis people do. I mean, but they lose a lot too, man. They lose a lot. Just everything costs, man. When that women's basketball team goes on one of those, Cayman Islands or.
You notice it was less of that this year, right?
Hey,
we criticized the schedule because it was light, but it was also
Charlie,
fairly local.
Both Mulkey and Johnson could find teams that are drivable that are more competitive. Okay, both of them.
Yeah, they could have.
Come on, man. Whatever. I don't understand when you got a loaded roster like that your roster is. Johnson and Mulkey are not recruiting against those mid-majors. Okay, they recruit that the people that come to those programs, the players that come to that program, get offered big-time offers. They're low on confidence. You got to build their confidence by beating teams by 60 points. You got to build your confidence by, run. Oh wait, no, they're not doing that in baseball right now.
Not the last 2 weeks. They're not.
So I mean, just it's. Look, you gave. We don't know for sure, but we feel pretty strong probability that McMahon had a top half player budget this year, roughly $9.2 million. That's in the top half, from what we understand. Okay, and this is year 4. Don't give me the bad. How do people get 2 years thrown away? Man, everybody starts from scratch every year. Everybody.
There's no question.
I mean, but I've heard excuses.
Well,
man, no. Hell no.
They got these guys hurt, and they started with 0. I'm going to do all that. I'm going to do all that on Thursday.
You can document those guys. Those guys were not that good to begin with. You thought they were. We had Matt Humans on. Who has covered UNLV longer than him? Nobody we know.
No.
Nobody. The Review Journal on the beat had been in Las Vegas, and he gets say he's an average player. An average player. Did he improve? He did. Against what? Against what?
This is a good stat, and you've cited this stat before. This puts it in a little bit more clarity with some of the other teams. You've used $9.2 million as their basketball budget. All right, LouisianaSports.net, Chris Marler, who does really good work for us, cited Oklahoma's insider. OU did an investigative report, I guess, about what everybody in the SEC
OU's supposedly low.
Okay, yes. Okay, this is where they're coming from. They had Kentucky at $22 million, far and away
25.
the most in. I'm just citing their report. $22 million. Okay, South Carolina at $5.5 million, Oklahoma at $6.5 million, and everybody else in the league between $8 and $10 million. Now, that sounds a little low on Arkansas, but everybody else, I can believe it. They're somewhere in the vicinity of $10 million. Might be 10.4, might be 9.6, but there's somewhere in the vicinity. There's not this giant, at least according to the Oklahoma people, they're saying,
I don't think Mississippi State had 8 to 10.
They said Mississippi State, everybody else in the league, okay?
Yeah.
So if these numbers are hard to find, okay, they don't want you to know these exact numbers for a lot of reasons, okay?
Right.
So these are going to be estimates. I get it. But this idea that LSU didn't spend any money on their budget this year, that's not factual.
No.
That is not factual. Did they spend as much as Kentucky? No. Did they spend as much as Arkansas? Probably
not.
They
spent enough to piss off some other coaches.
They spent enough to not finish last.
The best comparison I can make, Charlie, in the SEC, Vanderbilt last year. Brand new roster. I think they had one returning player, just like what happened at LSU when McMahon got here. They made the tournament the first year, and this year they're even better. I mean, that's 2 years. This is now 4 years.
I'm trying to remember the stat we gave out at SEC Media Days for basketball. It was who had the most players coming back. And I think it was Florida with 5 or Missouri with 5. Nobody had any more than that. That's what it is every year now.
Don't forget our friends at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. I mean, if your homeowners association is in the market, if your homeowners association requires wood windows like mine, you got to call our friends over at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. So, man, they are built to last. They are functional. They are built to with this extreme South Louisiana weather conditions. How about the humidity right now? Just relentless. How about that rain on Saturday night, Sunday morning? I mean, just unbearable. Just 12 months ago, we had snow over here in South Louisiana. So you got to check out our windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Check out all their inventory at ReliefWindows.com. Relief Windows, 288-8138, and ReliefWindows.com.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, let's go up to New York. Our buddy Ace Seminara, again, veteran handicapper. It is championship week. Ace, how you doing, man? Big menu this week.
Absolutely fantastic, Jimmy. Hope you're doing well as well. You know, happy to be back here and hopefully impart some wisdom for your listeners. Yeah, as you mentioned, championship week started. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, sorry, man. It's just I've been to Vegas for both, and listen, the March Madness, it's a bucket list, but it's so crowded now. But anyway, a little bit more maneuverable and just as many games, actually more games on menu. Thursday is my favorite day when the big conferences play both the night and the morning and evening sessions. Like the Big East, they'll only play the evening session on Friday. And I think there's another one, maybe the ACC only plays the evening session. But that Thursday and then Friday night, man, I just love it, man. It's just good. Now, let me ask you a question as far as some future concern before we get to your picks, Ace. But with the 4 top seeds, Duke number 1, Michigan number 2, Arizona 3, Florida 4, probably set win, lose, or draw in this tournament. Can there be a little value in somebody stealing one of these conference tournaments? No, maybe that you might catch them a little less interested than they'll be come for the tournament, the real tournament, the following week?
I think that obviously lays there with anybody that's already secured a spot in the tournament, Jimmy. But you got to also look at what coaches are coaching these teams. I mean, Coach Lloyd, he's got an opportunity to get Arizona, and obviously the number one seed out there, probably in the West. They'll stay out there. I can't see him taking the foot off the pedal with the way they're playing. Why take a chance and maybe just put a little doubt in your team's mind as to, wow, we can be beaten. They've already gone through the gauntlet through the whole season, Arizona in the Big 12. Duke, ACC, maybe not as much, all right, but certainly warranted the number one seed and the one overall. Michigan in the Big 10, for what they've done, certainly number one seed. In Florida, with the way they're coming on right now, nobody wants to see them in their bracket. Yeah, right. I understand what you're saying. It could be a letdown for one of these teams. I see full steam ahead for all of these teams right now, wanting and going out to win. I mentioned, what these odds are. Yesterday, I locked these 4 teams in, all 4 projected number one seeds to win their conference tournaments. FanDuel's offering you an opportunity to parlay that. Great parlay odds. I locked it in yesterday at plus 760. It's already now down to plus 695, so I got to believe I wasn't the only one that had that same thought. The lines are already dropping down on that parlay, but as a value parlay, why not take the 4 best teams in the country to just keep doing exactly what they've already done all year long?
Arizona's the only one at plus money, and it's barely, or just a little bit plus money, around a plus 150 range. Duke is the heaviest favorite, minus 300 above. I've seen anywhere from minus $3 to minus 350. Michigan, then Florida is the third choice is minus 180. There is a big gap between them and everybody else. And then Michigan minus 125. Do you agree that those are set? Those are the top 4 seeds set?
Absolutely. I can't see that changing. Let's say Florida were to lose somehow their first round game, which I don't see happening, and they're talking about, say, Connecticut out of the Big East winning their next 3 games. They would have to go through at least Villanova and then St. John's more than likely. That still, to me, doesn't get them a better resume than what Florida's done. And just the eye test right now, there's no possible way I can say that Connecticut's anywhere near better than Florida. Not even close.
No, that home loss on Saturday. I mean, that's that loss to Marquette on Saturday. That's damaging, man. Yeah, there's not enough quality wins in the Big East tournament and not enough damaging losses for Florida for them to catch them. But I do think they're going to put them in the same bracket. I think that UConn is likely to get that number 2 seed in the Florida bracket.
I'm not so sure about that. I kind of think that they're going to send Florida down south, and Houston is going to secure the number 1 seed down to the number 2 out of the number 2 seeds, and they're going to keep them in Florida because they'll be able to play the Sweet 16 in Houston, and they're going to set up a championship game rematch. You can already see. I know the committee always says we don't look ahead and do that kind of stuff, but you can see that they're going to have Florida as a potential final Elite 8 game going to the Final Four, Florida versus Houston.
All right, let's start off in the Big Ten today. This is a 4 o'clock tip today. Maryland and Oregon. Ducks are 4.5-point favorites.
Yeah, 2 bad teams that you certainly wouldn't expect to see here. Buzz Williams leaves Texas A&M. I mentioned to you earlier in the year. I think he may have second regrets on that one. He's probably going to be sweating through 2 of his suit jackets today. They have been just a bad bunch. They had 1 solid win this year, beating Iowa, and probably their next best game after that was their loss on Sunday to Illinois by 6 points. They held in the game as best they could because Andre Mills put in 30 points. But the last time they played against Oregon beat them back January 2nd, 64-54. That's about what Maryland's been scoring. They've had some games this year where they've just been absolutely god-awful on offense. But in that game, they held Mills to 4 points, 1 of 10 shooting. Now, right now, with as hot as he's been, he's going to be looking to carry the weight, and he needs to. He's pretty much a one-man show on offense, and that's the issue right there. I think Oregon's got more options of scoring since they got Biddle back. 4-3 might not seem like much, but for a team that's been absolutely awful this year, they certainly have showed some signs, and they've had some respectable wins. They beat Wisconsin. They beat USC. They lost to Northwestern by 1 on the road. They beat Washington just last week by 6 points. They've been playing some solid ball. I think the guys down low, Evans down low, Kwame Evans and Biddle, are just going to be too much along with Simpkins. They can just keep feeding the ball down low while Mills is going to have to be making shots outside. Dana Altman, very good coach, pulled a lot of upsets in tournaments in his day. I certainly expect them to get this win. The line yesterday was at 3.5, down to 4.5. buy that down to a flat number of 3, that important number of 3 points. Let's get on the Ducks and lay the 3 points in that first-round Big Ten game this afternoon.
All right, local game here tomorrow. Was it Matt McMahon's last game? We'll see at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. This line opened up at 6.5. We're seeing some 7.5s out there as well now.
Seems like a decade ago that they started 12-1, doesn't it?
I mean, great. Me, Max, Charlie, and Surak could have dressed out and gone 12-1 against that schedule. So, anyway,
don't underestimate me, Jimmy. I might be out of shape, but I can still hit a 3 if you leave me open. Yeah, I mean, Dayton Thomas was the big loss. 2-8 since then. He was a heck of a recruit that they got from a transfer from UNLV. I loved him when he was at UNLV as a freshman, and he's the leader of the team. You take that guy out of there now, they're a turnover machine. They last time they played Kentucky, they blew the game, had an 18-point second-half lead. They had 22 turnovers in that matchup. I mean, they just not a good team, as you know. They're just under-talented. They just don't have enough talent there, and I would say, it's going to be McMahon's last game. Kentucky, Coach Pope, done a decent job, back and forth, certainly. They've had some solid wins, always been just a scoring machine. 28 against Florida last week. They blew that game and ended up coming back and making it. Had a little bit of an early lead, then were down 18, made a big rush late in the game, and then succumbed to just a better team. What are you going to say? But overall, Kentucky, you know what they do. Come to tournament time, it's like they're a different team. They just know how to play the tournaments and the quick turnaround one day to the next. They've got more scoring options with Owe, Aberdeen, Chandler, who's kind of a hit-or-miss guy. When he's on fire, they're as good as a lot of the better teams in the SEC. When he's not hitting their shots, they're struggling to score. Diabate's been big down low as well. LSU's just a team bereft of talent. Give me Kentucky in that early round game tomorrow, -6. And Jimmy, I'm offering a free text service to all your listeners out there. Want to be able to help everybody during championship week. Yeah, great week going on. The lines, certainly are affected greatly because of the neutral sites. You don't want to be making mistakes around now. All right, Selection Sunday on Sunday. I'm here to help you. Just text me, 631-805-6165. Text the words free picks to 631-805-6165. I'll be more than happy to give you my top-rated free pick every single day of this week, right through Selection Sunday. Why go about it alone when I'm here to help you? And if you have questions, you can text me a question on any matchup on that phone. Again, text the word free picks to 631-805-6165. I am definitely here to help you. And a bonus play I just want to throw out there for your listeners, Jimmy. Players Championship, Colin Morikawa as a top 5 finish, plus 385. He's absolutely got his iron game going. He's got his head straight, on straight. Around this time last year, he wasn't doing interviews. Seems like he's got a much better attitude and has absolutely been putting lights out. Colin Morikawa, plus 385. Top 5 finish in the Players Championship.
There we go, top 5. There we go. Nice little lanyap for us here, a little bonus play. Ace, we appreciate it, buddy. We will talk to you on Friday. Thank you, buddy.
You got it, Jimmy.
All right, that's Ace Seminara. Again, his number, text him free pick, 631-805-6165. Don't forget our friends at Total Maintenance. That air conditioning is starting to break down right now. Give them a call, 480-1000. For AC heating, generator installations, maintenance, you name it. One of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC heating companies since 1980. My buddy Lucas Ragusa, who's been in the industry for a long time, at every level, so he knows what it takes to make, to make a great operation, to make it run efficiently by being a part of every part of it. Now he is running the show and calling the shots, and we're bigger and better than ever. We got we could cover all of the greater Baton Rouge area. We can cover all of the greater New Orleans area, where we have completely different staffs and offices in both, not to compromise each other. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, generators, plumbing, electrical service today, every day means Total Maintenance.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Wrapping up here at Mike Anderson. If you're watching a little bit on YouTube, we had a little bit of a reunion during the
Creighton fans
our
here,
Creighton
baby.
friends. Boy, look, we owe them, huh? For all the times they've hosted us in Omaha and all that they've done for us.
Yeah, did shows at Tom's tailgate. Tom, big supporter of Creighton basketball, and I've talked to him about them. Talked about where their budget is in Big East and stuff like that, and it's kind of competitive, but they can't afford to miss on guys, and they felt like they missed on maybe one this year, and kind of like LSU, just on paper there were some people that thought their roster was competitive. In reality, I don't care who he's bringing in. His team is ridiculously bad on defense, ridiculously bad. Year 3, you're 15th. Year 4, you're 16th. No, and there's no excuses with the budget he had. So I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame. Well, so if you're going to roll it back, give him nothing next year. Tell him go shake the can at Albertsons like back in the day.
The difference. I know I keep harping on these numbers, but they're just so overwhelming. Big East schools get payouts from $6 to $8 million. Okay, $6 to $8 million. SEC schools, $74 million or $73 million. And I realize there's no football programs, at these places, but still, when you're talking about that kind of revenue discrepancy.
Charlie, they sell out every game.
I know. They can't support it any more than they do.
No, but they're going to the number he gave me was more than I thought. It's not SEC. It's not that average SEC, that 8 to 10. It's not that. But it's not that far. And I would think they're one of the strongest in the league. I've seen the Georgetown Marquette, in some of these crowds. I mean, Providence they're just fired Cooley, right? They're talking about Herb Sendek.
Yeah.
Providence. No, his replacement. Providence is replacement. They're talking about Sendek. Cooley's at Georgetown.
Holloway?
No, Shaheen Holloway is at Seton Hall.
It's Seton Hall
He's
now.
had a good year. No, one of the biggest turnarounds. Yeah. No, Providence. Cooley's old school.
Yeah, it's a lot of revenue. Thanks to Mike Anderson for being our host today. Tomorrow we will be
at the original walk-ons for championship week, watching games, and then we'll be at Bally's, at the DraftKings outlet, then Rufino's on Friday.
All right. Have a great week. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.